Welcome to Poland Daily News with me, Nicholas Richardson. The Feast of the Most Holy Body and Blood of Christ is one of the most important holidays for Catholics. It is unique and from the very beginning of its celebration has been accompanied by processions with the Blessed Sacrament going through the streets and cities and villages. At the centre is the Eucharist. The Catholic Church believes in the living and real presence of Jesus Christ under the form of bread and wine. Today, through cities and villages, pass solemn processions with the Blessed Sacrament. Petals strewn by children, canopies, bells, the playing of orchestras, the decorating of altars. All this is done by Catholics to worship Christ, present in the monstrance carried by the priest. This is a great holiday, but also a great tradition of our homeland. I try always to participate. First of all, the Corpus Christi procession. It is a testimony of the faith that we believe in God. Everyone can really see what values we represent. In the Gospel of St. John, Christ says, "Whoever eats my body and drinks my blood has eternal life, and I will raise him up on the last day." This is a mystery of faith. It means that he is indeed present under the form of bread and wine, and that is why we carry the Lord Jesus to the streets of our cities. This is a public manifestation of our faith, but also a moment when we realize that God should be sought not only within the walls of churches. He also invites us so that the fruit of the Eucharist is our love for one another, and also the proclamation of the gospel to the whole world. The tradition of celebrating the Corpus Christi in Poland gained special significance when our homeland was under partition. The celebration of the Corpus Christi was a manifestation not only of faith, but also of Polishness. A central Corpus Christi procession passed through the streets of Warsaw, stopping at each of the 4 prepared altars where excerpts from the 4 Gospels were read. Bread becomes flesh and wine becomes the blood of Christ. Processions are linked to the culture of the region. Highlanders wear traditional folk costumes. There is also a beautiful tradition of laying carpets of flowers. In Czerwinsk, on the Vistula River, locals organize a procession on the river, sailing in boats. What do you expect? A beautiful prayer. This is the first time I've been here, so I'm also expecting beautiful songs. The Feast of Corpus Christi is always celebrated on the first Thursday after Trinity Sunday. Łukasz Szmuda, TV Republica. Nothing given shall be taken away. We heard this hundreds of times in the election campaign. The good news is that the 14th monthly pension will be paid this year. The bad news is that it will be almost 900 zloty less than last year. This difference will be especially felt after the introduction of drastic increases in electricity prices, which will take effect in just over a month's time in Poland. There's just no money, and there won't be any. History has come full circle. This legendary statement by former Finance Minister Jacek Rostowski has become relevant again, and pensioners will be the first to feel it in their wallets. Donald Tusk's government has decided that this year's 14th pension will be paid in September and will amount to a maximum of just over 1,780 zloty gross. This is 870 zlotys less than last year. You remember how the outgoing team used to scare Poles? Ooh, the new ones will come and take everything away. So, what's all the shouting about? After all, they didn't take everything away, but only about 900 zloty. This means that as part of the 14th pension, seniors will get a maximum of less than 1,500 zloty in hand. With galloping energy and food prices, the benefit will be almost imperceptible. This is tragic information for pensioners, for the reason that this amount has been reduced by some 800 zloty. And this is a very serious impoverishment, precisely with this inflation, which will grow very fast at the moment. Energy prices up from July by up to 60%. This will lead to poverty for many pensioners. The Law and Justice Chairman on the Guest of Today programme assessed that the decision to reduce the 14th pension is a first step forward, taking away the social benefits guaranteed by law and justice. I think in general this is the way to do away with this type of benefit. I'm not saying they will do it right away. They are breaking, like all others actually, the declarations that what is given will not be taken away. Well, that's where they are taking it away. They don't have the money, because when they're in power, there's always been no money. But what do you mean? After all, the Prime Minister promised at his exposé nothing that has been given over the years, nothing that is an entitlement of Polish citizens will be taken away. Perhaps the 14th month was not abolished altogether simply because it would not have been possible without the approval of the Polish president. This is because the benefit was guaranteed in a law by the Law and Justice government. I knew what I was doing when I insisted on the law regulating the granting of the 14th pension. But indeed, What those in power are doing today, they are seemingly leaving the 14th pension because it is in this law that was passed during my time in power, but unfortunately they are reducing it by almost 1,000 zloty. This is a huge loss for pensioners. Apparently after the 13th of December, Poles are more likely to smile at each other, but lightness of spirit is getting harder and harder to come by when the wallet is also getting lighter by the month. Maciej Strug, TV Republika. The controversy over the text of the speech by the head of the Office for Veterans and Victims of Repression, Lech Wałęsa, prepared for the celebrations of the 80th anniversary of the Polish victory on Monte Cassino, has not yet subsided. Earlier today, Professor Sławomir Stankiewicz and TV Republica's programme director, Michał Rachon, revealed a graphic on display in the German Foreign Ministry building, showing a version of history that has nothing to do with the truth. At the entrance to the German Foreign Ministry in Berlin, there is a graphic that, in its assumptions, is supposed to depict the history of our Western neighbour. The problem is that the history depicted by the German Foreign Ministry has nothing to do with the truth.
Historia II wojny światowej, która...
The history of World War II, which begins in 1938, there is no 1939, there is no 1st of September, and the shape of Poland that is on this map the shape of post-war Poland.
Jest na tej mapie, to...
On a graphic in the German Foreign Ministry, pre-war Poland is depicted without its eastern borderlands, within the borders established at the Yalta Conference. There is no date for the start of the German aggression against Poland and the beginning of World War II, no word about German-Soviet cooperation, nothing about the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact. This is a plaque for the failure of Polish historical policy and the failure of this alliance, this friendship that everyone assures us about. According to a graphic from the German Foreign Ministry, the extermination of the Jews began in 1942, with the Berlin Wannsee Conference mistakenly considered the moment when the Germans decided to murder the Jews. This makes it all the more surprising that it is illustrated by the gate of the German concentration camp at Auschwitz, which had been in operation since June 1940. The Holocaust had been going on since 1939, that is, the first isolation of the Jews in ghettos, then the terrible massacres of the Jewish population, the mass extermination of the Jews after June the 22nd, 1941, i.e. after Germany's aggression against the Soviet Union. All this is not there. Instead, the place of honour is occupied by the rainbow flag, a symbol of the LGBT movement, a community close to the heart of the current head of German diplomacy in Chancellor Olaf Scholz's office, Annalena Baerbock, of the Green Party. There is a debate in Germany about a new historical policy where the main victims that should be remembered are colonialism, persecution of sexual minorities. This is a cynical attempt to falsify history. The omission of the German attack on Poland is a deliberate effort to have World War II reduced solely to the crimes of the Holocaust, while German crimes against other nations, including above all the Polish people, are to be completely erased from history. The Germans caused World War II, attacked Poland and murdered millions of people, Poles, Jews and other nationalities. The problem is that to this day Germans have not paid for Polish losses and the country destroyed during the war. There is no indication that Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk, who has long sought support rather across the Oder, will fight for German reparations for this country, calculated in the Polish war losses report at 6,200 billion zloty. Today, the Germans have decided that it is time to continue this offensive of diluting the country's responsibility for World War II. This, in my opinion, is simply the result and effect also of the change of government in Poland, which we know will not protest on this issue. It seems that the formation of the new government, the official approach to history, is indeed changing. Such was the case with the text of Lech Wałęsa's speech revealed on air, prepared for the 80th anniversary of the victory of General Władysław Ander's Polish Second Corps at Monte Cassino. In it, Parol was to honour 90,000 of our Wehrmacht grandfathers. Now the head of the Veterans Affairs Office writes in a statement, "I paid tribute to Polish soldiers who fought on all fronts in World War II, including Poles forcibly conscripted into the Wehrmacht." We didn't have to wait long for a response from Professor Sławomir Stankiewicz, who revealed the matter of Parol's tribute to his Wehrmacht grandparents on our airwaves. The anniversary of the battle is a tribute to specific Polish soldiers, heroes killed by German bullets. There is also a danger that the Lord will arrange Monte Cassino celebrations at the Cemetery of the Defenders, where many Poles from Silesia also lie. The Lord is a Polish minister and protector of Polish veterans and not a guardian of veterans from the Wehrmacht and the Red Army. Your job is to serve Poland. And Michał Rachon, programme director of our station and presenter of at Michał Rachon's programme Jedziemy. There is no denial of an obvious fact that in the official text of a speech on the 80th anniversary of the Battle of Monte Cassino, the head of the Polish Veterans Affairs Office wrote about the commemoration of 90,000 of our grandparents from the Wehrmacht. More than 900 soldiers of our General Lander's army were killed and nearly 3,000 wounded in the fighting for Monte Cassino, one of the greatest victories of the Polish armed forces and one of the fiercest battles of World War II.
To jest skandaliczne.
This is a scandalous attitude on the part of this gentleman who should be dismissed immediately, relativizing history, trying to mix perpetrators and victims. This is to lead to a situation where within a few years it will not be clear who the perpetrators were, some nationless Nazis. It appears that the Donald Tusk-led government is moving in the direction pointed out by Germany, its greatest ally. Radosław Jankiewicz, TV Republica. The famous mansion from the iconic movie Home Alone in Chicago suburbs has been put on sale for more than $5.25 million.
The movie, which follows the adventures of Kevin McAllister, who spends Christmas home alone, premiered in 1990. One of the most iconic movie residences in American pop culture was put up for sale last week. For the McAllisters' house in Chicago, one has to pay more than $5 million. The house was built in 1921 and underwent a major renovation 6 years ago. At 850 square meters, there are 5 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, a spacious kitchen, 2 laundry rooms, an elegant dining room, a poker table, and a 3-car garage. The old furnace from the movie is no longer haunting the basement, as the basement has been converted into a basketball court and a home movie theater room. The attic, where the 8-year-old protagonist Kevin spent the night as punishment, was remodeled into an apartment.
That's the news. Thank you for watching, and from me, have a good night and a better tomorrow.